Right. So, like Mary Beth said, my name's Evan Peikon. I'm one of the co-founders at Knox. Prior to Knox, I was a applied physiologist and data analyst, and I worked with professional sport teams and endurance athletes and CrossFit competitors. And during the time I spent with teams, one of the things I'd always hear people say is that exercise science just explains what coaches and athletes had already figured out in practice. And anyone who works with athletes for a living has probably heard some version of that before. And the honest truth is that it really wasn't that far off. For decades, our knowledge of how to best improve people's health and fitness was outpacing our understanding of human physiology during exercise. But this has really changed a lot in recent years. We've seen an explosion of new technologies that allow athletes to monitor their body's function in real world environments. And that's really allowed people to understand how their bodies respond to exercise. And these new technologies go far beyond traditional measurements like heart rate and VO2 and blood lactate, which are all full body systemic measurements of exercise intensity. For example, at Knox, we can now measure changes in local muscle oxygenation and nitric oxide in real time and non-invasively. And up to this point, these types of technologies were only available in research settings, and the few devices that were on the public market had user interfaces that were just really challenging to use and far beyond what we're all accustomed to with our mobile phones that we use on a day-to-day basis. So Knox really changes all of this by giving you lab-grade technology with the easy-to-use interface that you're accustomed to. So as I've already mentioned, Knox is the first device that allows you to measure your muscle oxygenation and nitric oxide levels in real time. So this raises the question, what is muscle oxygenation? Well, simply muscle oxygenation is the percentage of blood in your muscles that are carrying oxygen. And you could think of this like a dynamic measurement of the balance of oxygen supply and demand in your working muscles. If your muscle oxygenation level is going down, it means you are utilizing oxygen in the muscle faster than you're supplying it. If your muscle oxygenation level is going up, it's the opposite. You're supplying oxygen to the muscle faster than you're using it. And practically speaking, muscle oxygenation gives you insights into how well your exercising muscles are functioning and how your body's using its energy reserves during exercise. Using your muscle oxygenation could also help you understand how your body responds to different forms of exercise, and that could help you make more informed decisions about how hard you should be working out, how much exercise you should be doing, and how you could improve your recovery between bouts of exercise within a workout. Muscle oxygenation also provides a really reliable indicator of your exertion levels, and it has a lot of advantages over traditional measurements that you might be accustomed to using, like heart rate. Now, in addition to measuring muscle oxygenation, what makes the NOXX wearable so unique is that it also measures nitric oxide, which is the body's natural regulator of blood flow and oxygen delivery to your brain, heart, and working muscles. And Knox is the first device available that could actually do this non-invasively in real time. We've all probably heard the saying, what gets measured gets managed. So for the first time, you could measure your nitric oxide levels and you could use it to manage your exercise routine to make sure that you're actually increasing those nitric oxide levels over time. And together with muscle oxygenation, this provides you with the most complete picture of the effectiveness and efficiency of your workouts. Right. So now you know what the Knox wearable measures, but measurements are only useful as the insights that you could get from them. And this is where the NNOXX One and NNOXX One Elite platforms come in. NNOXX One combines the Knox wearable with a really easy to use mobile app, and that allows you to track your body's responses to exercise in real time. Now, NNOXX One Elite takes that to the next level by giving you access to Knox's high performance platform, which is a web-based analysis platform for athletes and their trainers. Now, I'll explain both the mobile app and high performance platform in a little bit more detail. Right. So, like I said, the Knox mobile app provides you with real-time biomarker feedback during exercise, and this could help you dial in your intensity, exercise duration, and your recovery. And for the first time, you could track these responses in real time, allowing you to modify your workout on the fly for increased exercise effectiveness and efficiency. Knox's mobile app is really designed for everyone from recreational exercisers all the way up to elite athletes. For example, let's say you're a busy parent or professional who wants to get fit, but you don't quite know how. Knox has an AI coach feature that's just the thing for you. All you need to do is select your favorite form of exercise and how long you want to work out for, and Knox's AI coach will take care of the rest, guiding you through a personalized workout in real time. And on the right-hand side of the screen here, we have a little screenshot of what our AI coach provides you with. It's a really easy to view interface that tells you to increase your pace, hold steady, or decrease your pace, and it will guide you through different training intensities for the duration of the workout that you select. And what that's going to do is make sure that you're maximizing your nitric oxide levels day to day and week to week. Now, on the other hand of the spectrum, let's say you're a professional cyclist who struggles with bonking or fatiguing during your races. You could use the NNOXX mobile app for real-time pace guidance, and that could help you adjust your power output, your cadence, your breathing to minimize fatigue and maximize your performance. And you might be looking at an interface like this one all the way on the right, where you're actually tracking your biomarker levels in real time and using that to make decisions. Whoop. Oh, we jumped way ahead there. Sorry about that. Right, so for the rest of us who we might just want to do our own workout and let Knox display data in real time. You could put your Knox device on and go to a CrossFit class, do a Peloton session, or wear your Knox device at the gym while doing your own training program. And then you could use this data to help you personalize your exercise in real time, or you could analyze it later on with Knox's high performance platform. So, as I said, Knox's high performance platform is a web-based analysis platform that is only available to NNOXX One Elite users. The high performance platform helps you personalize your training program based on your body's own unique needs. It also allows you to track changes in your fitness and physiology over time and help you manage training loads to decrease your risk of injury and overtraining. And honestly, this is the platform I wish I had when I was actively coaching and consulting with athletes and teams. So I'll show you a quick snapshot from the high performance platform before diving into some specific case studies for how athletes could use this. Right, so here's an example workout captured in the portal, and specifically this is my biomarker data during a mile run. You could see that my resting muscle oxygenation level is around 65%, and as I exercise, you could see my muscle oxygenation level declining. This tells me that my oxygen utilization in my muscle is greater than my oxygen supply. Then when I finish running, you could see my muscle oxygenation level increasing again. And this happens during recovery when I'm supplying more oxygen to the tissues that I'm using. You could also overlay this data with other measurements that the Knox wearable collects, like your acceleration, your oxygen consumption in your muscles, or even your nitric oxide level. And you can see that when I start running and exerting myself, my nitric oxide levels are low, but as I start working out, my nitric oxide levels rapidly start to increase, which tells me that I'm increasing blood flow and oxygen delivery to my exercising muscles. So now that you have some familiarity with the Knox platform, I'm going to show you some different ways that athletes and their trainers could actually use this to enhance their performance. Right, so as you've gathered by now, one of the main benefits of measuring muscle oxygenation and nitric oxide is to be able to personalize your exercise so you could reach your goals in a more efficient manner. And I wanted to take some time to explain how we do this in practice. So whenever an athlete's doing a conditioning workout, there are questions about how hard they should push themselves, how long they should push themselves for, and how much recovery they need between sets of exercise. Knox could help you answer all these questions. Right. So I recently did a workout that included 3 1-mile bike repeats followed by a maximal effort sprint. So going into this workout, I knew that I wanted the mile repeats to be at a moderate near threshold intensity, but I didn't know exactly how many watts of power I should be using to get myself into that intensity zone. One of the things I know from collecting Knox data is that if I want to be in a moderate intensity domain, I should be holding a muscle oxygenation level between roughly 40 to 52%. So during this workout, I use my Knox mobile app to guide my exertion level in real time. If I saw my muscle oxygenation level go above 52% in the app, I'd increase my power output. If it went below 40%, I'd decrease my power output, and that would allow me to stay in that range. You can see that if I zoom in on this first interval here in the portal, I do just that, and I'm able to stay in my target range the entire time. I also knew that in order for me to fully recover between sets, I need my muscle oxygenation level to reach 65% or greater. So I was able to guide my rest periods in real time using my mobile app. I would stop working and I would look at my phone screen and see when my muscle oxygenation levels got high enough, and that told me I've rested long enough. I could start training again. So you could actually use this data to guide your workouts in real time. I could even compare this data with a previous workout. So here I will select another day that I did a shorter, higher intensity workout. So if I select this little section of the workout, you could see that on the previous day, that is this lighter color, I deoxygenate my muscles much more than on this lower intensity day where we're looking at a darker muscle oxygenation trend. And this makes sense given that I'm working at a higher intensity. I could also compare my oxygen consumption levels in the muscle, and I could see that my oxygen consumption is much higher on one day than the other, indicating that the metabolic demands of that workout are so much greater. I also want to come back to this workout and show you one more thing towards the end of it. So I mentioned after doing these mile repeats on the bike, I'd finish with a sprint. One of the things that I've identified using Knox is that my endurance performance is limited by my ability to use oxygen in my exercising muscles. So each week I do a short high intensity sprint while monitoring my power output and my muscle oxygenation to see if I could exert more power and utilize more oxygen. This is a really easy way for me to track changes in my fitness and physiology week to week, and this helps me figure out what changes I need to make to my training program to actually improve my performance. Trainers could also use the Knox device to figure out the correct amount of exercise for their clients to maximize training efficiency. So, for example, let's say you have a trainer and they're a client in the gym and they're lifting weights. The trainer could see when additional sets of resistance training might no longer be stimulating the target muscles effectively, and they could use that to figure out how many sets the client should be doing. They could also use this Knox data in real time to see how rested and recovered their clients are, and that could help inform how hard they should be pushing them in training that day. So these examples that I'm showing you in the portal are a little bit more complex because I'm talking about athletic performance, but this could be grossly simplified down to how much work should you do, how long should you rest, and if we wanted to reduce the complexity even further, we could even use that AI coach feature that I told you about before, where it's as simple as putting the device on your leg with a strap, pressing a button that says how long you want to work out for, and you're off to the races. The Knox app takes care of everything for you. Now, one last thing that I wanted to cover is how you could use Knox to track your progress from week to week, and this allows you to make more informed decisions about how to progress your training over time. So again, I'll take a second or two to get this set up. Right. So in the Knox portal, I have an example workout where I did 6 half-mile bike repeats on an Echo bike at 275 watts, resting a minute between sets. The following week, I did this exact same workout again, but at a higher intensity, and I was only able to complete 4 sets. So we'll directly compare those two workouts. Right. One of the things that's really interesting about this is that across these first 4 sets, my muscle oxygenation levels are roughly equal between this same workout that I did on 2 different weeks. But what's really fascinating is that on the day that I have a higher exercise intensity, my muscle oxygenation level is actually a little bit higher. So what that means is uh, I'm able to exert more power and use less of my body's fuel supplies. And that tells me that I'm fitter or have improved my exercise efficiency. Notably, though, I could only do 4 sets on the week that I had a higher power output. So why would that be? Well, if I look at my nitric oxide levels, I could see that my nitric oxide levels are much lower on the second week of this workout when I was only able to do 4 sets. Now, Knox measures nitric oxide release from red blood cells specifically, and this is what controls blood flow and oxygen delivery to exercising muscles. So what this tells me is when I have higher nitric oxide levels, I'm able to do more total work and my endurance is improved. Knowing this, I could do the same workout again the following week, And based on my performance and biomarkers and how they trend, I could use this to determine the most logical way for me to adjust my workouts week after week to continue making performance improvements. So this is a high-level overview of Knox's technology, what our mobile app and platform do. With the time that we have available, I'd love to answer any questions that anyone has.
Thanks, Evan. That was a great overview. Just wanted to remind folks, if you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A section. And in the meantime, I've got a list here of a few questions that we often get,
Mm,
so I thought I might go ahead and ask you those, Evan.
okay, sounds great.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about if there are certain types of exercises that are best for using Knox? And maybe as part of that, where would somebody wear the strap? Do they adjust it depending on the type of
Mm.
exercise?
Yeah, absolutely. So the short answer is that you could really use Knox for any form of exercise. So whether you're doing endurance training on the bike or running, or you're lifting weights in the gym. Now, generally, endurance activities, running, rowing, biking are going to be the easiest to interpret your data over time, but there's no reason why you can't lift weights, do a CrossFit workout, or any of these other use cases if you're a little bit more experienced with this type of technology. My general recommendation is no matter what form of exercise you're doing, you put the device on the primary working muscle. So if I'm out on my road bike, I'll strap the Knox device on to my outer quadricep. If I was in the gym lifting weights and doing bicep curls, I would put the Knox device on my bicep. So as long as it's on a primary working muscle, that would be the best way to collect data.
And I've heard folks ask, do you wear it all day, or is it just something that you're wearing when you're working out?
Yeah, so Knox is specifically an exercise wearable. One of the reasons for that is the form of nitric oxide that we measure increases in response to oxygen utilization in the muscles. So if we're just sitting here talking right now, there's not much going on in the exercising muscles. So there's not a lot of data to observe. It's really the act of exercising that provides you with the most useful and informative data.
Great, thank you. Does it integrate with any other fitness apps at this time?
Not at this time, but that is something we've talked about, and in the future, we will likely have integrations with other apps.
Okay, there's a question in the chat. There's a couple here, and I'm not sure I understand this question. So I think you might, though, Evan. So Casey asked, without seeing this, can you tell if you are occluding?
Yeah, so the short answer is you could infer if someone is occluding based on their muscle oxygenation trends. One of the things that's really unique about Knox is we measure muscle oxygenation much faster than any other device on the market. So I'll actually hop into the portal here because I think this will help answer this question. Right. So anyone who's used to measuring muscle oxygenation knows that generally you see these kind of smooth trends as you exercise going downward. One of the things that people notice when you use Knox is you can see all these little zigzags. These are actually your individual muscle contractions. So as you're contracting the muscle, oxygen goes down. When you relax the muscle, even if it's only for a split second, oxygen goes back up. There are times when you'll see that these contraction lengths are a little stretched out. So you'll contract the muscle and oxygen will stay depressed and flatlined in a low state. That tells you that the muscle's not relaxing very quickly, and you can make inferences about whether someone is occluding the muscle.
Great, thank you. Another question came in. How will Knox readings help identify limiters compared to THB?
Yeah, so for those not familiar, THB is a measurement that you'll get with a lot of NIRS devices. It stands for total hemoglobin. It's a measure of blood volume in a working muscle. The reason that we don't display THB, even though we do measure, is that it's a very noisy signal. So when you're looking at THB, your muscle contractions could influence it, the amount of blood flow to your working muscles could influence it, and your sympathetic nervous system could all influence it. And you have no way of separating those different systems regulating that signal. One of the ways that we've gotten around that is we measure nitric oxide, and specifically the form of nitric oxide that controls blood flow and oxygen delivery to tissues. So when you look at a NOx measurement, you could think of NO as a blood flow measurement. ultimately that's what people were trying to get with THB. They wanted blood flow, but that's not what that's a measure of. We give a more precise measure. So you could look at both intensity in the muscle with SmO2, total oxygen consumption with MVO2, and nitric oxide release with NO. In between those three pieces, you could actually identify people's physiological limitations, which getting into the nuances of that's a little bit of a wormhole. But please feel free to email me or contact me, and I'm happy to discuss that offline.
Great, thank you. Joe is asking, how much time inside or outside of workouts would you say that you spend doing manual data entry to create the minimum amount of labeling required to make things like workout comparisons with muscle groups useful?
Yeah, so I will say almost no time. So those displays that I was just showing you in the high performance portal, when you're streaming Knox data to your mobile phone, as soon as you press end workout and save workout, within about 20 to 30 seconds, all of that data will be in your account on the high performance platform. So when I was just showing you my data and going through it, that will all be there ready. So you could just go in and start looking at your data. You don't need to do any data preparation whatsoever.
Great, thank you. Another question is, will customers need to use tape or wraps to cover the sensor?
Yeah, so the strap that comes with your Knox device has a built-in light shield, so you don't need to have any other kind of tape or external wraps to cover it. You could also tape the Knox device on or use like athletic tape. In those cases, still, there's no need for any form of external light shield because the way that we built the device, it blocks light very well already.
Great, thank you. All these great questions. Thank you. Keep them coming. So another one is, if I understand correctly, it's possible to use the same device on multiple athletes. Does the app allow you to manage individual files or accounts for athletes in order to track progress easily, or does it work differently?
Yeah, so right now, when you purchase an Knox device on the website, it will ask you to set up an account. That account is going to be associated with one individual. So even though people could technically share a device, that account will only have one athlete's data in it. We do have a team version of the Knox high performance platform for sports teams, military, and other organizations that allows you to build a team roster and have everyone's data in there. And eventually we will have a gym version of that as well that is a little bit more stripped down.
Great. Technical question here. Is it Bluetooth only or ANT plus?
It is Bluetooth only, so no ANT.
Do you need to perform some sort of baseline test for the AI to determine your programming or limiting factors?
Yes, so that is built into the AI workout. So if you do an AI coach guided workout, it will guide you through a standardized warm-up process, and that standardized warm-up will be used to calibrate the measurements so the AI coach could then effectively guide you through the remainder of the workout.
Okay. And Daniel wants to know, is this available to purchase currently?
Mhm. Yeah, so pre-sales have started, so you could purchase your Knox device now, and then when we have general availability, we'll be shipping out devices.
Okay. I might combine the next couple of questions.
Mhm.
So somebody wanted to know, what is the NO data measured in?
Mhm.
And then as you're elaborating on that, could you go in a little bit more detail about the AI coach? So how is it different than simply providing guidance based on specific data ranges?
Totally. So I'm not sure what the question about what the NO data is measured in is referring to, but I could speak to the AI coach. So the AI coach is really meant to be a time efficient workout companion. So this is for someone who wants to improve their general health and fitness. And what that AI coach is doing is it's trying to maximize your nitric oxide level over the time period that you select for that day. So it's telling you when to go faster, when to go slower, and so forth. The unguided workout version, for example, just gives you your data streaming in real time. So, for example, if I wanted to go hop on my road bike or I'm in the gym doing my own training program, I would use the unguided mode in the mobile app and I would view my data in real time, be able to collect that. I may use it to actually modify my training on the fly, or I may passively collect it and then analyze it in the high performance platform later on. But no matter who you are, even if you're just a NNOXX One user and you don't have access to the high performance platform, you still have access to both the AI coach and the unguided data collection in the mobile app. So it's the same mobile app for everyone.
Great, thank you. Will the platform look for similar workouts and do comparisons for individuals over time, trends, for example, based on SMO2 steady state?
Would you mind repeating that one? I think I kind
Yeah,
of lost the
I
thread there
was.
in the question.
Okay, so will the platform look for similar workouts
Mhm.
and do comparisons for you over time,
Okay.
trends, for example, based
Mhm.
on SMO2 steady state?
Got it, got it. Yeah, so the platform won't automatically classify your workouts and draw comparisons, but in the mobile app, you will select what form of exercise you're doing and what muscle group the data is collected on. And then when you go on the platform, those workouts will be tagged and categorized. So you could do direct apples to apples comparisons if you wanted to. In the future, we will build out more performance analytics. So it's conceivable that we may automatically be able to identify people's maximum steady state. But at the moment, and when we launch, that is not a feature that we'll have in there.
Okay, we have a little bit more clarification on the previous question about NO data measurement. So the question is it measured as a percentage or as a mmol deciliter
Yeah, so
or
it is
something else?
measured. Yeah, it's measured as a concentration in AU.
Okay. Casey's asking, are there additional resources to help users improve data interpretation?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the short term, we'll be creating content for users to view. Long term, we will be creating courses and certification programs for users that want to get more involved in the data analysis. And as I always tell people, I'm always available to look at people's data if they have questions as well. So we're going to do our best to make sure that people are able to easily use the device and extract whatever insights they need from their data.
Okay, I think we have two more questions and then we'll wrap it up. Any indication on when the team or gym version will be released?
Yeah, so the team version will be released once general availability happens. So you could already go on the website if you are a team or organization and are interested in using the team platform. You'll just need to fill out a form and we'll reach out to you to arrange a demonstration. The gym platform, I don't have exact target dates for.
Okay. During strength training sessions, it seems pretty self-explanatory to place the sensor on the most dominant working muscle. But what about if the targeted muscles is something like the deltoids, pecs, or lats?
Mhm. Yeah, so if you're targeting delts, pecs, lats, that's where you would want to use a taper adhesive instead of the strap, just because strap is obviously meant for more extremity muscles on your arm or your leg. It's really awkward and cumbersome to try and get a strap on a delt or a pec. So that's where we'll have adhesives that you could use to directly adhere the device onto the working muscle.
Okay. I think we've managed to answer all of the questions that came in.
Awesome.
Thank you all for all the great questions. If I did happen to miss one, we will make sure to follow up. You're also always welcome to send questions to us at our support email, and we will receive more information, including a recording of this shortly. Again, thank you. Support@knox.com is the email address. So thank you again, Evan, for sharing all of this wonderful information and answering all the questions. If I guess the last thing I'll share is please mark your calendars for our next webinar, which is August 9th. It will be at the same time, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll post more details on that in the coming days. So on behalf of all of the Knox team, I wanted to thank you all for joining and hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care.